Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Modeling League's Dungeonbowl. It is the final game of week number 1, and we've got a lot of weeks of Blood Bowl to play here. This is the final open competition of the season. We got a pretty good one for you here tonight. Tonight, it's gonna be the Real American Heroes versus Subductisupercilicarptors. Dead Friend versus Berserker Tempest, Dark Elves versus Underworld. Oh, Berserker Tempest, thank you so very much for the sub. I appreciate it. 21 months, that is a lot of months. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you very much. And good luck tonight. All right, this will be the first game of this competition for both these teams. I'm excited to see it go down, but first let's take a look at the standings before we take a look at the rosters of these two teams. Tizzle Bizzle, thank you very, very much. Praying to double. All right, in Division A, currently in first place is S. Beavers, the Dead Poets. They are an undead team. They are 1-0 in this competition. Eric's Our Grudges with Nuffle. That's a Dwarven team. They are in second place also with a record of 1-0. And in Division B, currently sitting... Oh boy, look at this. Food Polish, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Thank you very, very much for your kindness. I appreciate it. In Division B, currently in first place, BB Nuts, Harlequins, BBFC, an undead team, 1-0 is their record. And tied for second place currently is going to be Spires Rodentia, a Skaven team, and Chimes Never Gonna, an Orc team. They are each drawn, so they have 1 point apiece. Tonight, Subductisupercilicarptors and the Real American Heroes are going to duke it out, try to take that top spot. And in Division C, currently tied for first place, are the Television Terrors, coached by me. They're a human team. They are 1-0. And Tizzle Bizzle, an Orc team, the Tizorc Savage Boys, they are 1-0 as well. Boot Polish says, I hear bribery is how Windbreakers won the first poll. Berserker Tempest says, oh, we have 3 divisions. We do. 3 divisions. The winner of each division will advance to the top 4, as well as the highest placing runner-up between all 3 divisions. That will be the top 4 after 7 weeks of play. 6 games for every team. Every team also has a bye. But first up, let's take a look at the home team. The Real American Heroes, coached by Dead Fred. They're coming in at TV at 1,250,000 gold. They have 10 players on the roster. It looks like 9, 10, 11, 12. Nope, they have 11 players on the roster. Nope, 10 players on the roster. They're going to be, Zartan's going to be out with an injury this week. Cobra Commander as well with a serious injury. But otherwise, not a bad roster, right? 2 of the 4 blitzers, a bunch of linemen, a runner, and 2 witch elves. It hurts to not have 2 of your 4 blitzers, but they're going to be up against an undead team that we'll talk about in just a second, so I think they'll be okay. 1 outpost, 6 dedicated fans, 3 rerolls. They're going to be up against the visiting Subductisupercilicarptors. They're coming to TV at 900,000 gold. They have 11 players on the roster. Did I count that right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Indeed, 11 players on the roster. 1 journeyman is going to have to be picked up by the Real American Heroes. It's going to bring their TV up to 1420, I believe, which is 420,000 gold in petty cash coming to Subductus this evening. They have their big guy in this Rat Ogre, one of my favorite big guys. Not my most favorite. I like the Treeman, but a very solid big guy in the game of Blood Bowl. Has a number of these linemen, these Skaven clan rats, has a thrower, has a gutter runner, and then a bunch of snotlings. Unfortunately for Berserker Tempest, a big blow to the team. Started out the season with this Underworld team. Mid-season, the rules changed, and now these snotlings do not have swarming anymore. So that is a big, big nerf to the team. Berserker Tempest is just going to have to make do with that going into this competition with this Underworld team. I don't think they are a bad team, but being underskilled, a lot of rookies on this roster, against the Dark Elf team, it's going to be an uphill climb. He has a lot of inducement money that we'll talk about shortly, and I think that's where that decision is going to decide the entire course of this game and whether or not Tempest can come out with a W tonight. Real American Heroes, this Dark Elf roster. We have seen the power of these Witch Elves time and time again. We have the Baroness, who is a blodger. We have Scarlet, who is a blodger. They both have Frenzy. Scarlet's not a blodger, but they both have Frenzy. Frenzy means you get to take, effectively, you get to take 2 blocks on your turn, provided you have the MA to do it. It can be a little tricky for newer coaches, but Dead Fred, absolutely not a new coach, and knows how to set up these frenzy blocks to get the 2 die blocks each time. That's more dice, meaning more chances for a pal, and the opportunity to knock over a piece. More importantly, perhaps, is the fact that Frenzy makes the sidelines unsafe. So both these Witch Elves will be smack dab in the middle of the pitch, or maybe off to one side, perhaps on offense, and they will secure the sidelines against the opposition. They have a lot of MA. They can get to where they need to be, and if somebody sets up on that sideline, you can bet that a Witch Elf's going to come and try to surf that player. All these linemen, they are expensive linemen because they are elves, and that is because they all have an AG of 2+. So even though he has a bunch of rookie linemen, they are still very, very powerful pieces. Very easy to dodge, very easy to catch the ball. A very good team, frankly. He is missing 2 of his blitzers. That is a big loss, one of which was Blodger and Zartan, but he still has the Blodger and Destro. He still has Gung Ho. He still has, he has Gung Ho and Destro. But that's those 2 Blodgers, plus Duke, who has block, plus the Baroness, who has a Blodger as well. I really think that's all he needs against this team tonight, and that's because he's up against this undead team that's lost their main gimmick, and without that, they are very, very fragile. So you can see these Snotlings super cheap, but they're only a strength of 1. Their AG is fine. They have dodge. They are stunty. That means that all their dodges are going to be a 2+. That's also great. But without swearing, without being able to set up with more than 11, what are you going to do against a Dark Elf team that's a little more skilled than you? What I think he needs to do tonight, and honestly, I'm not really sure, but I think what he needs to do tonight is really kind of lean into the kill game. I think with that 420, I mean, he could certainly pick up Morgenthorg, and if he does, that's not a bad option. But if he drops down to Varag Ghoulchewer, that's 100k less. It's 280k for Varag. That'll leave him money for bribes. He can't get all 3. He's just 10k shy of all 3, but he could pick up 2. And then he can start trying to foul people. These are elves that he's up against, so it's not like he's up against dwarves. He's not up against a team with a high armor value. So if he can get just a couple of assists and going on these fouls, now he's looking at 8+, 7+, 6+, 5+ armor breaks, which can be a real benefit, especially since he's going to be up against a team that only has 11 players on the roster, no bench on that team. So once that Dark Elf team starts to lose players, Tempest could see the momentum shift. He could have the player advantage, and then he's really in this game. He's the pieces he has, he really has to use very, very well. That Rat Ogre, he wants to be getting that Mighty Blow frenzy block off as much as possible, but does have to be careful about the nega trait. So it's always a risk that you have to calculate each and every turn. And when you don't have a lot of skills on your roster and you have to rely on the big guy, that makes that decision all the more important. He does have a Skaven Blitzer. Being a Blitzer has the block skill. He'll need to use that as much as possible. He does have the Skaven Thrower as well. He might need to lean into the passing game to get a little bit of an advantage. And if he does that, watch out for the number 11 Gutter Runner here with that MA of 9. And the Agi 2+ can be a very, very devastating piece that can run away and break away for a quick touchdown. Boy, it's going to be tricky for this Underworld team, I think, to come out on top. I'd like to see it happen just because I like rooting for the underdog. But we'll see what happens here as we get this game underway. We'll see what he picks up in the inducement phase here. Again, has 420k. He is going to go with Morg. That's only going to leave him with 40k in the bank. He's not going to go in on the bribes. He's going to try to use Morg instead. So now with Morg is the centerpiece of this roster now. He really, really, really has to use Morg to his advantage. Morg is a fantastic piece, so long as you have the money to pick him up, but that means Morg's also going to have a target on his back. He needs to keep Morg safe. He can't throw Morg out there willy-nilly where this Dark Elf team might be able to get a 2-die block and then try to foul Morg off the pitch. The Ranger says, is anyone rooting for the elves? Elder Brutus says, yo, Joe! All right, the Real American Heroes is set up on defense. Dead Fred's setting up in what are we calling this defense? A wave, an M, the top of a heart. Nurgle's Rot rooting for the offense. Segnos Loop, welcome to the stream. Morgan Thorg versus Willie and Nilly. Oh, the rivalry of a century. LD Runa says, well, there are really only 11 Dark Elves. Yes, and one is a journeyman. And there he is right there. Benedict is the journeyman on the roster. Had 2 injuries going into this game. Had to pick up journeyman with 12 on the roster. That's another sliver of hope that, man, I don't want to undersell this or oversell it, I suppose. But Berserker Type is certainly not out of it. I'm perhaps overstating the Underworld nerf, but it can be frustrating when you come into the season. You had a game plan in mind for this team, and then the rug gets pulled out from underneath of you. Berserker Tempest is just going to have to find a way to pivot with the team. 5 on the line now for the Subductus. They do have their big guy, that Rat Ogre, in the center position. Now shifting him off to a guard position, resetting back to center. With only 11 players on the roster for this Dark Elf team, if he does go in on the kill game, he can start to get a player advantage. Setting up, it doesn't have Morg on the pitch yet. Oh, boy, that's a lot of... Yeah, there he is. That's a lot of money to leave in the reserve box. Morg, Strength of 6, has Mighty Blow and Block, of course. To make matters worse, if Morg gets targeted, it's an AV-11 to break his armor. So really, the idea of removing Morg from the pitch will be to knock him down and take a foul, try to get as many assists as you can. No pickup on the catch on the high kick, but that is all... Morgan Thorg's going to work out here. I thought it was double skulls. He gets both down results. Going to be wrestled to the ground, but the drive stays alive. 4 rerolls for each team. Two-die block on the left defensive end here. Breaks armor. Mighty Blow in play. Got a KO. 1-man player advantage for Subductus. Well done. Gets a push on the center defensive tackle. The nose tackle, shall we say? Are they still called nose tackles? El Marino says, I'm disappointed in the lack of goblins. They are, in my opinion, the unsung heroes of the underworld. Yep, no goblins on this roster. We'll see how Tempest makes do. A ton of snotlings, however. He's taking the blocks on the line. He's freed up the left side of the line here. He's shifting the number 15 blitzer back to the left. Pulls to the left here into that space vacated by the center. And then shifts number 14. Merrill Streak is back over to the right. He's going to pull back the number 12 Clan Rat. Pulls back a Snotling to try to get some protection on the ball. Going in on the foul. Got a stun out of it. So he is going to go for these fouls, but decided not to take any blitzes. He does have 1 player on the bench, so I think that's okay. I think that's a good call. Had 2 assists on that foul. Got a stun. Good paw pickup by the Gutter Runner, and it'll be turn 1 back to the Dark Elves. Taking the foul on Tomax there. That was a 7+ to break armor. He got the armor break, got a stun. 3-die blitz now on the left side of the pitch on that Snotling. Strength of 1 means all the die rolls are almost assuredly going to be a 3-die block against these Snotlings, but just gets a push out of this. All Snotlings have sidestep as well. And Tempest electing to sidestep forward here. can often be a good move to make sure your opponent's marked. The Snotling's no longer in danger of being blocked. The problem is against Elven teams, they have that 2+ agility. So if they have a positive dodge, in other words, if they can dodge away where there's no tackle zones, that's a 2+. That's all they need in order to succeed on their dodge. Elves can be a nuisance if they're allowed to run around the pitch. Actually, I guess just elves can be a nuisance. End of statement. As mentioned in the pregame, you can see the Baroness in the defensive back position, staying at mid-pitch. Going to use that big MA of 7 to get to where she needs to be, still controlling these sidelines, even from center pitch. Turn 2 now for Subductisupercilicarptors. Morg stands up. Good wrestle down on Morg there, meaning Morg can't take a block this turn unless it was a blitz. Morg's going to mark airtight the number 9 lineman, who's applying some light pressure on the right side of the pitch. 2-die blitz with the Rat Ogre. Gets a knockdown on a roadblock. 8+ breaks armor with Mighty Blow. He did it. Gets a stun. I'd say I've been playing this board game that I love. I love it so much. I had a dream about it last night. I've been playing this new board game called Burning Banners. It is phenomenal. It is so good. It is a purely tactical fantasy war game. And it's absolutely amazing. I love it. Advances the ball. Subductus advances the ball to their own 4-yard line. They're over in the left wide zone. They have a pocket set up to protect the ball carrier. That gutter runner, the fastest player on the pitch this evening with an MA of 9, but just a strength of 2. And just an AV of 8, fairly brittle, fairly weak. Good 2+ dodge. Again, the Snotlings are always going to dodge on a 2+, no matter what. Easy to get them where they need to be. And now turn 2 back to the Real American Heroes. So this offense starting to group up on the left side of the pitch. They have to be careful that they don't get stuck. We've talked about this before. But what can happen is if you're at a center pitch here, you have options for movement, right? You can always retreat as an option as well. If you're in a wide zone here, suddenly you've lost an option. You can't go this way. This is not a place to go. And not only have you lost movement options, but now the defense doesn't have, this is not pitch that they have to defend. So now they find themselves with more players, which means they can start to stack those players, and they're even more effective on defense. So it can be very easy to get your offense stuck if you commit to a sideline too early, or commit to a wide zone too early, I should say. Good 2-die blitz on that Rat Ogre, gets the knockdown. Rat Ogre, again, one of the key pieces on this roster. Real American Heroes are going to be targeting this Rat Ogre, and if they get an opportunity to, target Morgan Thorg as well. Sector Sloop says, what faction were you playing in Banners? I played it last night as the Army of the Night. But I've played all the quote unquote good guys. I played the Dwarves. I played all the factions, I guess. It really is. But I played Army of the Night the most. And I think they might be my favorite faction. I like them all, but I think they might be my favorite faction. So it's an asymmetrical war game. There are 6 factions. Each faction does something very different. And there's the Army of the Night. They can set up vampire covens in enemy settlements, and they can enslave enemy armies, which is awesome. Turn 3 for Subductus now. So the defense starting to close down on this offense. They're leaving the lane open for Subductus here, knowing that Subductus will not be able to keep this player necessarily safe. If they decide to move down this lane, a bunch of players will have to move in to protect. And on the stand-up blitz, the Rat Ogre is going to find himself wrestled to the ground yet again. So that's the blitz spent. Oh, he really wanted more out of that. Spent a reroll to try to get through the loner roll, failed the loner roll, and he's going to be stuck with this wrestle down. Wow, so Dead Fred elected not to choose the wrestle down. He thought having a null turn was a better option, and perhaps so. So he took the boat down result. That is a turnover. And now turn 3 for the Real American Heroes. Blitz to get things started. 3-die blitz on number 7. Gets a pal here. Just needs a 6+ to break the armor of poor Cleopatra. Cleopatra's going to sidestep in front of the ball carrier. No armor break. And now a 2-die on the number 4 Snotling. This will work out due to the block skill, but again, no armor break. Three-die block again, this time triple skulls on the number 2 Snotlings. You cannot keep these Snotlings down. Re-rolls into a push. Three Snotling blocks, no removals. I don't have an anvil. Welcome to the stream. I don't have an anvil. Snotling's doing the Lord's work tonight. Shipwreck, the number 6 lineman with the wrestle skill. It's going to advance to the Real American Heroes' own 4-yard line right in front of the ball carrier. This defense continuing to collapse on the offense. Offense has speed. They might need to reset on this upcoming turn. They will find the Rat Ogre picked off. But a reset might be in order. We'll see. Turn 4 now for Subductisupercilicarptors. More blitz out of the gate. Gets a POW against Gung Ho, the rookie blitzer. 8+ breaks armor with Mighty Blow. If he doesn't need it on the armor break, he'll get it on the injury roll. He got it. Gets a stun. Boy, I forgot this is Morg. That is not a +1. Morg is Mighty Blow +2. So that's a 7+ on the armor break if he needs it. Morg is a nightmare. Under a minute on the clock now for Subductus. They have 3 rerolls left for the half. Do they have a cheerleader too? Good for them. Wait, no. Yes. Look at this. The sole Subductisupercilicarptors cheerleader. All right, that's it. Turn 4, final turn of the first quarter now. People says, wasn't Morg broke for a while? Is he fixed? Broken what way? I don't think he was mechanically broken. In the old version of the rules, I argued vehemently that he wasn't worth it. Oh, +2 wasn't working? That's big. I mean, that's a big part of Morg in this version of the rules here. 3-die block gets a knockdown on Destro. Oh no. Number 4 against the Snotling here. It's going to be a dodge push. No Snotlings removed yet. Now a 1-die on the number 12 Clan Rat. Has to spend a reroll after rolling the skull. We'll get the knockdown here. Real American Heroes down to 2 rerolls for the half. Neither team really dipping into the bonus clock. The Real American Heroes have eaten up 16 seconds on the bonus clock, but otherwise very efficient turns. 2-die block on the Rat Ogre is going to be a push. Real American Heroes exerting tackle zones here and here. But a blitz can open up a lane. Quarter number 2 of this game now. 0-0. Subductus on offense. They've yet to cross the line of scrimmage with the ball. They're on their own 4-yard line. Starting off again with a blitz. Morg blitz against Chuckles. 7+ to break armor. There's the armor break. There's the injury. Well done. Two-man player advantage for Subductisupercilicarptors. If ever there was a star player, Morgan Thorg is that player. Oh no, the frenzy blitz by the Rat Ogre is going to keep the drive alive. Gets a push on the first blitz, had to follow up and blitz again, this time to an uphill blitz. Wow. That's what you have to be careful with Frenzy. On your first block with Frenzy, if it is a push result, you must follow up and you must block again unless it's a blitz and you don't have any movement points left or something. So you have to be careful with that follow-up Frenzy block that you're not putting yourself in an uphill block position unless you're really, really sure you want to take that block. And now Subductisupercilicarptors are going to cross the line of scrimmage. They are going to cage up on the opposing 2-yard line. So they're finding some marked by Scarlet. Scarlet might just take the block here against the number 16 thrower. Maybe mark out Morgenthorg. He doesn't have guard. Mark out Morgenthorg. Take a frenzy block. Open up the hole. We'll see. 3-die block's going to be a push yet again and gets the number 4 Snotling. Elder Moreno wants to see the Rat Ogre surfed. It can certainly happen. Would take a big piece off the board. 3-die block against Cleopatra. Finally gets a knockdown on one of these Snotlings and breaks armor, but only gets a stun out of it. Gutter Runners MA9 versus the MA7 of the Witch Elves. So still in a position to be outpaced by the Witch Elves. 2-die block on the Rat Ogre is going to be a push here. Well done. And now he is going to surf the Rat Ogre. Not rolling a skull, you're not. Boy, gets the surf on the Rat Ogre, but it's down to 1 reroll for the half. Oh no! Oh no! Wow! Got the injury on the surf while the cheerleader's cheering right in front of her. Oppo not spent either. Wow! Big loss for Subductus here. They lose that big guy. They're down to a one-man player advantage. But the Radog are out for the rest of the game. Great surf by the Joes. Flagman means business. Yeah, he's here to stop someone. Bought that pennant. He bought those cleats. He has a job. He has a plan. Good 2+ dodge. Repositioning this defense to get in front of the cage. Turn 6 now for Subductus. Two-die blitz has started nearly, if not every turn, with a blitz here. I guess turn 1 was a more block. He's gonna get the POW against the Baroness. 6+ will break armor with Mighty Blow. Oh my word, does not get it, rolls a 5. Looks like he may be trying to cage up on the 12, but if he does that, he's going to be marked. He'll be marked on 3 points of the cage. If he advances to the 12, we'll see what he's deciding to do. Could get all the way down to the 20, but then the ball carrier will absolutely not be safe. Looks like he is gonna cage up on the 12 here. Doesn't have the blitz to take out Tomax, so Tomax marking this side of the cage, and there's a mark on Morg here. So 3 of the 4 points of the cage already marked. I just noticed I misspelled placing. Playing them. Turn 6 now for the Real American Heroes. If they stop the score, they've done their job. They have 3 turns to stop the score. Number 11 in scoring position right now with no rushes. Tempest playing a much more conservative game than normal. I think that has been wise. Realized the matchup he was up against, has decided to pivot, and I think it's been for the best. Did lose the Rat Ogre, that is unfortunate, but still in control of this ball, has not relinquished control at all, hasn't even had a block on the ball carrier yet, so doing a good job on offense, but really needs to get to see this ball into the end zone in 2 turns. I really like this series of board games. It's from a company called GMT. They're called coin games, counterinsurgency games. So they're basically asymmetrical war games. 3-die block gets a POW here on the number 4 Snotling. Can he get an armor break? 6+ is all he needs. It's not a lot. But the coin series are counterinsurgency war games. I love them. I have all of them. I even have all of the games from a spin-off series as well. But anyway, the point of this story is that I found, it's not part of the same series officially, but I found a coin game based on Robotech that I'm very eager to play. Robotech, an old 80s cartoon based on a Japanese cartoon called Macross. Now the defense needs to get a little aggressive here. They need to close all the gaps and prevent this gutter runner from getting away. And that is what Dead Fred is attempting to do here with 7 seconds on the turn clock. Dude, I blitz at the oh my goodness. These skulls for the real American heroes. Nuffle has something to say about this team. Spends the final reroll on a push on the front right corner of the cage. And that's going to shut down the gutter runner effectively. He can still technically get into the end zone. Speaking of coin games, last week, 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago. I played one of my favorite coin games. It is by far the most complicated one. It's the most traditionally warlike counterinsurgency game. It's based on the Vietnam War. It's called Fire in the Lake. It was like a 7-hour game or something, but I had an absolute blast. It was so good. I love it. Fire in the Lake is one that you don't get to table too often just because it's so long and it's so different. Like it's just, you know, it's a very different game just because there's so much territory and sort of traditional army movement all mixed in with the counterinsurgency stuff. But it's fun to get it to the table. Turn 7 now for Subductisupercilicarptors. Again, we start with the Morgue Blitz. 2-die Blitz. The push on Airtight has 3 rerolls left. Decides not to spend the reroll here to get a push. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 rush will do it. 2+ dodge away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2+ dodge to 2+ rush could score here in turn 7. Hank the Ranger graciously Hank the Ranger graciously lowers the rush failure rate from 900% to a measly 99%. Good block here, gets a stun on Duke, and now it's no longer a dodge, it's just a rush to score a TD here in turn 7, unless he thinks he can hold out till turn 8. He thinks he can. Oh, he's going to jump up. He's styling. Same odds either way, but he wants to do a flip. Well done by Berserker Tempest to score. Very good offense there. 1-0 is the score. And we get to see the Subductisupercilicarptors cheerleading squad. For the leap instead of the rush. It was a T+ either way. Got the style points though. Subductus now. 1 turn to defend. 2 turns for the offense. Old Gamer Mike says she's just starting her pay. She is. She's doing a great job. Still think it's 11v10, a one-man player advantage for Subductus. Let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that'll be 10 here. So one-man player advantage for Subductus. I think they want to screen out the pitch, and you can see he's setting up some chevrons here. It just has some gaps on the formation chart. I think that's the right call. It's going to set up some chevrons, try to screen out the pitch. That will be the defensive setup. 3 Snotlings on the line. And now the Real American Heroes, with no rerolls remaining, find themselves with just 2 turns to score. They can certainly do it. Boot Polish rooting for the defense. El Nubarino rooting for the elves. We'll see what happens here. Berserker Tempest had a great offense. I'm very impressed by the restraint. We've seen Berserker Tempest play a very, very aggressive game of Blood Bowl historically, and came into this matchup as a clear underdog on paper, said, I need to change my tactics. He did just that. Played a great offense, was able to score cleanly. See if he can match that with a solid defense here. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough going every single turn, but it's doing a great job so far. In the lead 1-0. Still has 3 rerolls remaining. Real American Heroes burned through all 4 of theirs. I don't have an anvil says Snotlings will hold the line. You can't take them down. Look at that. Look at their armor. You telling me you can get through that? I don't think so. That's right, and with no rat at that. Lost his rat. Rat ogre, that is. Here's the kick. No kick for Subductus, or no kicker for Subductus. They'll certainly have a kick. Probably going to try to kick this ball deep. But it's a very shallow kick, so it's going to be kicked to the 8-yard line. Without a kicker, you know, that's just going to happen. Rolls a 1 on the quick snap, moves 4 players into position. It's going to try to grab this ball with Destro. This is basically a re-roll, because if he doesn't get this this catch, he'll get a pickup opportunity when the turn starts. He should be proud of his kick. Good catch by Destro. 2 turns for the Real American Heroes to get on the board. If they can, they'll go into the second half with a tie ball game, and they will be on offense. That's right, these Snotlings, they're here to play. They are role models for all other Snotlings. They say, you think you're too frail, you're too weak, you're too brittle to play Blood Bowl? Well, we're going to prove you other. Oh my goodness! We're going to prove otherwise. Another skull for the Real American Heroes. Went in on the 1-die block, had the block skill. Was a favorable odds, but rolled a skull, and that will be a null turn. And that is it. The Real American Heroes will not be getting on the board. Wow, Subductisupercilicarptors. They're going to end the half 1-0. They have 1 turn left for each team. We'll see what Subductus does. Maybe they just run away and keep players safe. Maybe they go in and try to increase their player advantage. Boot Polish says, send in Morg. Yeah, Morg's all the way over here in the left wide zone. He's just hanging out. Nobody wants to be around him. He's feeling sad, really. Like, look at that face. He's just sad. Like, that's him being upset and sad that he doesn't have any friends. Takes the mark on the ball carrier. Doesn't need to be this risky here. Oh, scary, scary, scary. Unless he's looking to take a blitz on the ball carrier and maybe pass it for SPP. But now the escaping thrower might be in danger. Rush blitz. Fails the rush. He has 3 rerolls. Might as well spend 1. 2-die blitz. Not going to work out. Spends another reroll. Gets a pal. Can he take out this blitzer on a 9+? He cannot. And the boss... And the ball's in the hands of the blitzer. Cage is up. He's just showing off at this point. Boot Polish says, I bet Morg is great at coin operations. Taking a bunch of marks here. Really just final turn of the game. This is giving blocks to the opponent. But we'll see what happens. Maybe it's a psychological game. He's like, come at me. You're just gonna roll skulls again. Took the block on Meryl Streak is here. Gets a knockdown. 8+ breaks armor. There's the armor break. It will be a KO. We'll see if that sticks. Three die block on number 2. Doesn't have the block skill, but that's okay. Has the tackle skills, so the defender stumbles result will be a knockdown. 6+ breaks armor. But again, no armor break. Old Gamer Mike says he may have lost track of turns. Yeah, it's very true. It could very well have happened. Gets a pal on Cleopatra. Looking for an armor break again. Can he get just a 6+? There's the armor break. There's the injury. Well done. That's a broken arm as well. No more passing for you, Cleopatra. So now it's a 2-man player advantage for the Real American Heroes. Could go in, yeah, could go in on number 15. It's all staged. He took a dive. 3 die blitz. We'll get the knockdown thanks to the block skill, but again, no armor break on the Snotling. Double pals on the blitzer. Gonna get a 9+ by the journeyman. Does not. That is the half. Subductisupercilicarptors in the lead. We'll see if they get back the KO'd player. They do indeed. So I think this is going to be 10v10 on the pitch. 3, 9, 10. V10, all tied up on the pitch now. Subductisupercilicarptors in the lead. Both teams back up to a full complement of rerolls. 4 for the Killicarptors, 3 for the Real American Heroes. The Real American Heroes are going to be on offense. I bet Dead Fred is very, very grateful to have those 3 rerolls back. There's a it's not a coin game, but it's a spin-off series called the Irregular Conflict series, which aren't quite counterinsurgency, but they're very similar. But the latest one is a Robin Hood game, and I was like, oh, come on, Robin Hood. I bought it. It is phenomenal. It's so good. It's called A Jest of Robin Hood, and it is a fantastic game. Wholly recommended. Very unique game. I think the first game I played, I was Robin Hood. I don't know if it was the first game or not, but I distinctly remember murdering a bunch of travelers in the woods. And then later, an event in the game called me out on it. It's like, if you've murdered 4 or more people, they don't like you so much. And I was like, oh, but they had a lot of money. Trying to screen out this offense yet again. I think that's the right call. 4 on the line now for the Real American Heroes. Kick will probably be dead center, I have to imagine. We'll see where it ends up. It can deviate up to 6. And you know what? I think Subductus will take that timeout. That timeout's going to remove a turn from the clock. We are now on turn 10 for the Real American Heroes. The ball was kicked into the hands of Scarlet, the Witch Elf over on the right side of the pitch. Gets pal number 4. Right defensive end finally breaks armor and gets an injury. Well done. 1-man player advantage for the Real American Heroes now. Let's investigate this kick. Yeah, that wasn't at the head at all. Somebody's taking a dive. Somebody needs to call the commissioners about the integrity of this game. 3-die block on the nose tackle here. Gets a pal again. Looking for a 6+ to break armor. And another injury. 2-man player advantage now for the Real American Heroes. The tide is turning. 10v8 on the pitch. Subductisupercilicarptors lost their standard big guy. They still have Morgenthorpe on the pitch. 3-die block on the left defensive end. This will be a wrestle down or a push. It's going to be a wrestle down. Tempest has another option here. If he cannot hold the defense or hold the offense rather and stop the score, he may want to give up a lane and then sort of a gambit, right? To go the offense into scoring or getting into position to score and force the score early so that Subductisupercilicarptors might be able to win this one 2-1, but we'll see. Hank the Ranger says the Snotlings are obviously poisoned during halftime. 2-die blitz on Meryl Streakus. 8+ breaks armor. Another armor break. Gets a stun. Man, these elvish kicks. These are Taekwondo elves. Ball advances to the Real American Heroes 2-yard line. Keeping the offense spread wide. This is a way to make sure that he keeps his movement options available by spreading wide. By spreading the offense wide, it forces the defense to spread out wide as well, and then they become less effective, right? They have to cover holes with 1 or 2 pieces, and if they do it with 2 pieces, it means they're giving up some other part of the pitch. A more blitz to start the turn again here in turn 10. Gets a pal on Shipwreck. 7+ breaks armor with Mighty Blow. No armor break though. Defense taking marks. Have to be careful with these marks, especially with rerolls on the offense here. These L's with the rerolls, their positive dodges are just 2+. When we talk about positive dodges, what we mean here is this elf here is marked, being marked and trying to move away. That's what triggers a dodge. Whatever space you move into, you count up the number. You're going to make an agility roll. So for this elf, it's going to be a 2+. You subtract however many tackle zones you're dodging into. So in this case, there's none. So it's just a 2+, right? That's what we call a positive dodge because there's no negative modifiers. Here, right here, there's a -1 to the roll because he's dodging into one tackle zone. So that would be a 3+ to make the dodge. So already a 2+ is pretty safe. I mean, you don't want to roll dice, period, if you don't have to. But with a reroll, it makes it even safer, right? They have the dodge skill for the free reroll, which means they don't even need to dip into the team rerolls for this particular piece. But even for the pieces that don't have it, such as Gung Ho here, it's a 2+ dodge, and then has a team reroll to spend to make it safe. So it can be tricky. Trying to mark these pieces can be tricky if you're trying to stop their forward momentum. Instead, it's often more effective to screen out the pitch, make the elves try to punch a hole, try to commit to a side, try to do something, and then you react to that. If you want to get aggressive, if the elves make a mistake, then maybe you can start to swoop in. But more often than not, taking a mark from one direction, unless you really don't want them going in that direction, they're going to have no problem getting away. Now, of course, there's something to be said to forcing your opponent to roll dice. Like, making your opponent roll dice, that's part of the game. You want to make your opponent roll as many dice as possible because you want him to fail a die roll. Real American Heroes. Destro is down pitch on the 12. That's the Blodger Blitzer. Short half with the timeout. Real American Heroes. It'll be interesting if Dead Fred's going to try to win this game or not. I think it's going to depend on the player count. If you can get a strong player advantage in time, you can try to play for the win here. It's going to get a 1-die block on the number 12 Scathing Clan Rat in the right wide zone. Gets the knockdown here. Takes the block with the Journeyman. Always a little risky to take a block with the Journeyman because they come with the loner skill, meaning if they fail a die roll, you do not get to necessarily use a team reroll. You have to spend it first if you want to use it. Then you roll a d6 on a 4+. You may then reroll. Otherwise, the team reroll is spent and wasted. 2-die block to free up Destro. 2-die blitz, rather. Rolls double pushes. Taking marks. Has a lane for the handoff if he wants it. Has to dodge away from Morgenthorg. Oh, he spent the blitz. He'd have to dodge away from number 6 as well. No problem, though. There it is. 3+2+2 to the handoff. Good handoff to Destro. Is he going to try to score? If he scores here, he's going to try to win this game. There it is. 1-1 is the score. Dead Fred not afraid to score early and try to win this game. Well done. Very quick touchdown by the Real American Heroes. And now the Killicarptors are going to be on offense. 7v10? Is that what I'm looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blue Polish rooting for the offense. It'll be a 3-man player advantage for the Real American Heroes. So they feel comfortable with this player advantage. I'm astonished. I'm very surprised that the Oppo wasn't spent on the Red Ogre. No, 2-man player advantage. 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 versus 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's just a 2-man player advantage for the Real American Heroes. I don't have it, Anvil says. I stepped away and there's no snotling line. Nuffle giveth and Nuffle taketh away. Indeed. Berserker Tempest, man. I really have to commend him in this game. I don't think I've seen a more measured game from Tempest, like in such a lopsided matchup, has really been playing a great game, I think. And no matter how this ends up, really should pat himself on the back for his play so far. This is a game where every single turn is a fight, and he has stayed in it every turn so far and still has a chance to come out on top. Oh no, but now Nuffle gives a full 6-player blitz to the defense on the short kick. They might recover this ball. Let's see. You get 3 players plus a D3, roll to 3, and now 6 open players can blitz this short kick. There's a mark on the number 12 wide clan rat on the left. What a kick, and that's without a kicker too. Blitz on the left. 2-die blitz got the POW. Decided to follow up, has plenty of movement left with the Baroness. Takes a rush, gets a mark next to the ball. This ball will bounce when it lands, but it's got to rush under the ball again, and is going to try to catch this ball with the Baroness. Oh boy, 4 more players to move. There's the second one. Here comes the 4th, rushes to take a mark on the opposite side of number 15 here, trying to push out this blitzer. Destro, the blodger, comes in. 1 more player left to move. Two rushes to get Scarlet down pitch as well. We'll see if the ball is in the hands of the Baroness. Bad catch. Couldn't catch the ball. Oh boy. The ball's gonna bounce to the 8. Turn 11 now for Subductus. Oh man, this has turned into a game. 2-die block on the left defensive end will be a POW. This is against the Journeyman. No armor break by Morg. 1-die block. Oh no. Rolls a skull. Re-rolls this into a wrestle down, but I think he might not use wrestle here, and he'll just take the null turn. Yes, indeed. That will be it. Not really a null turn, but that'll be a turnover. Turn 12 now for the Real American Heroes. They can hand off to the Baroness, and the Baroness can rush to score, and they'll be up 2-1. But I think he's in pretty good position to try to stall this out for a few turns. Problem when you're the underdog in a matchup, and this goes for, I would say, generally any game whatsoever, is really what... Oh, failed the pickup on a 2+. Has 4 rerolls. Succeeds on the reroll. Gung Ho is going to advance down to the 18-yard line over in the left wide zone. But the problem can be boiled down to the impact of effects, right? When you're the underdog, your mistakes are magnified so much more than the mistakes of the favored team. And that's why it can be real difficult for an underdog team to win. And so that means that if you are the underdog, you really got to be on point and you can't make mistakes. And it can be real hard, especially as a coach. You know, you play the best 15 turns of your life as the underdog and you lose because of one turn. It can be real easy as a coach to go, oh, I messed up. Oh, I lost. What a terrible coach I am. But I really hope Tempest comes away from this game feeling pretty good about his play, because he's really put in a great game so far. Two-die blitz gets a push on the number 16 thrower. Frenzy follow-up into another push on the thrower. Good dodge away by the Baroness. Maybe rushes here? No? All right, turn 12 now. Final turn of the third quarter. Subductisupercilicarptors up to bat. They can get a one-die block with a dodge with number 16, but they're up against a player with the block skills, so it's not favorable. Two-die block back of the line gets a Powell and Tomax with Morg. 7+ breaks armor. But no armor break. Might need to start chucking some dice here. Need to take some dodges. 2+ dodge with the gutter runner. Whoo! 2 pluses for days to get number 6 in on Gung Ho. Well, now he might be able to get a 2-die block. Two-die block back at the line. Gets a POW against Shipwreck. Breaks armor. Looking for some SPP. Got a KO. He's going to go on this ball. He's running out of players. We'll see what he decides to do. Could just try to, instead of going on the blitz, could just try to cover the front and prevent Gung Ho from moving forward. But still a risky play with that speedy Witch Elf just behind Gung Ho. Three plus dodge, two 2+ rushes, and now Tempest on the bonus clock. Just under 6 minutes to go on the bonus clock. Has 2 rerolls left for the game. Big decision here on this turn. Still has number 11. Still has number 16. The gutter runner and the thrower respectively. Blitz still on the table. Could get a 2-die blitz out of this. Fails the dodge, he'll spend a reroll. Oh no! Oh, Nuffle, why? Nuffle, why? Oh boy, failed the dodge, spent the reroll, failed to dodge again. That was a 2+ dodge, rolled snake eyes. Now the gutter runner's been KO'd. Hank the Ranger says, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this Underworld team is cursed. Was setting up for a big play and to fail that die roll, that stings. That stings. Witch Elves, real big players on this roster. "34 touchdowns for the Baroness." Three-die blitz. Gets a pal on number 6. Boot Polish says, no kills, weak sauce player. Gets an armor break, gets a stun. Speaking of games I like, some complicated coin games. There's also a remake of an old 80s, let's call it a dexterity game. An old 80s children's game. Crossbows and catapults. I love that too. You set up like a Lego castle. It's not actual Legos, but you set up like a Lego castle and you have little dudes that you put around the castle. And then, they remade it this year. And then you just shoot trebuchets and catapults and crossbows at it, and you try to knock it down and kill the leader or get the treasure. The pirate ship one, broadsides and boarding parties and broadsides and boarding parties. I think that one's called. Turn 13 for Subductus. Ball's currently hanging out in the hands of Gung Ho on Subductisupercilicarptors on 22-yard line. A kind sir, welcome to the stream. Fail dodge! That's another failed dodge to a KO. Oh, Nuffle, why? Turn 14 for the Real American Heroes. Oh, that's awesome, El Nuverino. That's great. I have a friend who has the original Hero Quest, which I think is just super rad. I have the would you call it a remake? It's like a redo. I have the current version of Hero Quest, which I'm very happy to own, but I think it's really cool having the OG Hero Quest or something like crossbows and catapults or broadsides and boarding parties. The dice have gone awry here. Tempest fighting so hard all game long in the last 2 turns. Oh. A kind sir says, the best part about a Hero Quest is the broadsword. Real American Heroes are going to hang out on the 24-yard line, trying to get some SPP on Gung Ho. The broadsword. Out of rerolls. Gets a knockdown with Morg here. Gets a KO. The problem with these blocks with Morg now is Morg's a star player, so any SPP on Kaz's aren't going to apply to the team. Oh no, boy! Stop rolling dice! Nuffle hates you! Turn 15 for the Joes. Cobblestone PB says, well, that doesn't add SPP either. No, it does not. The Real American Heroes are going to stall this out till turn 16. Nobody's going to be able to get to him. We'll see. We'll see what Subductus does. I think they should just run away. Save yourselves! Head for the hills! Oh, that poor gutter runner. Two-die block up number 13, looking for some SPP. Only gets a push out of this. Five players left on the pitch for Subductus. Only Morg left standing. Oh no! He has a clan right here. Two-die blitz with Morg gets a pal. Just looking to injure some elves, and he did it. Well done, hey! Injured an elf out of spite. I think that might be the end of Airtight's career. No reason not to spend the oppo on this, I think. Oh, he didn't spend the apothecary. Why not? He just hates that guy. Turn 16 for the Real American Heroes. They'll walk the ball in. There'll be one more turn here for Subductisupercilicarptors. Oh, well done there. So hard fought by Berserker Tempest, and it all turned around on one turn and just went... saying it went downhill feels like an understatement. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it very much. I didn't catch the name. I'm very sorry. What was the name? Let's see. I'm going to find it. Poor decision. Thank you so very much for the follow. Yeah, if he still has a Snotling, which I don't think he does, he didn't get any back on the KOs. He could have done a throw teammate with Morg, but that's not going to happen. Oh, fair enough, Cobblestorm. Good call. Chose not to use the apothecary because there'll be 3 linemen taking blocks, or eating blocks, I should say, in this final turn. Oh, he does have a Snotling. So the Snotling's going to come off the line for sure. What? No! Ah! What's happening? No! No! He had a shot! I mean, I guess he technically still has a shot. Well, not with a block with Mork. He doesn't. Takes the block with Mork. Mork? With Mork. Oh, man. 2-1 the final here. Oh, that went downhill fast. But still, Berserker Time has put in a good show, I think. And had a great first half, had a great third quarter. It was only in that final quarter where everything fell apart. And again, that's just kind of what happens when you're the underdog. Your mistakes, and not just your mistakes as a player, but just like, you know, if you fail a die roll, like all of that is exacerbated when you're the underdog. So hopefully Berserker Tempest is pretty proud of his play for the large majority of the game here. Still put in a really good show. Just lost this one 2-1. That is not bad here in week 1. Still very much alive. Boy, oh, wait, I didn't close the game out. Hold on. There we go. Wait, what? Did I? Oh, I put the game. I just put the game into overtime. I'll figure this out. Hold on. I'll get there. I swear. Man, I wrote this software. You think I know how it works? Let's try this one more time. There we go. The real American heroes. I know. It's not a stream if I don't mess something up. The real American heroes are going to advance into first place here at the end of week 1. They are tied with the Harlequins BBFC for first place. Lots more Blood Bowl to go. There's 7 weeks in regulation before the cut to top 4. And then after the Dungeon Bowl, we have our championship invitational, the Blood Bowl. So still have a lot more games to come up. I'm very, very excited for this. Week 2 is going to get underway tomorrow. And that means coaches will begin scheduling their Week 2 games. And when those games get scheduled, you'll be able to check out and get alerted to those schedules on our website at maml.club. That's MAML.CLUB. Here on Twitch or on our social media pages on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also watch previous games on our YouTube channel. Play Blood Bowl, man. I talk all the time about how Blood Bowl gives you so much agency, right? New players, like sort of the character arc, the story arc of players in the Blood Bowl. They start the game, they go, oh, this is a random game. But maybe something hooks them. And then they keep playing. And then they realize it's not really a random game. I mean, of course, there's lots of randomness, but better players win more consistently. And you start to realize just the rich amount of options and tactics and strategies and agency you have as a player. And I think that was on display tonight. Obviously, Dead Fred's a great coach, played a great game, but Berserker Tempest, I think, as the strong underdog, really showed what can happen when you consider what's on paper in front of you and you pivot and you make good strategic and tactical decisions and really put on a great show for 3 quarters. So I love this game, and I love that you can do that in this game. If you want to play Blood Bowl, you can play Blood Bowl via Blood Bowl 3 on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation and Xbox. We support crossplay now. And you can even play it in tabletop form at your friendly local game store. We have a lot of tabletop players with fantastic pieces that they've painted beautifully. I'm a terrible painter. But enough of that. Until week 2, take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening.